This is a video on Logotag and how to make a Logotag file and cutting files for the new saw. So this is for private kitchens. Roseman Sigra is the job that we're cutting. The first thing is to understand the job that we're actually doing. So if we open up the PDF within the cutting folder of the job, we can see here that it's 2 worktops. We got a small piece there, and do some mental arithmetic to understand how you're going to cut. So I can see from now I'm going to have to cut this piece on one part of it. It's my slab is 3 meters by 1.4. Here this is a 2.7 meter piece, so that's on one side. This piece here is 2.3 meters plus 650. I could just about get that from the bottom part. Then I've got these upstands here, so that's really how I'm going to think about the job. Let's close that down, and this is a file I need to bring in and clean up. So easiest way of doing that normally is to drag and drop that file, the DXF file, into here, which is Logotag. When you see the yellow lots of rubbish over here, press N and it'll start to remove. You have to press it several times. And now we want to get down to only the layers that we're really interested in for cutting. So we don't really, upstands are fine. We don't really want the wall. We don't want, there's nothing in this. The fact there's no exclamation mark means that that's an empty one. Upstand polish line is fine. Tool unit we don't need. We don't need the carcass signs. We don't need the manufacturing dimensions, or the cabinet line, or the construction line, or the end panel. And definitely not the text. I don't know what this is. So we can check using the... So we've got a dot, random dot on the cutting file. Just cut that away. Just remove that. Right, here's our first test. It's to understand if the file is clean or not. So if we press C, we can see here that the continuity of this file is terrible. We need to join up all these lines properly. That's come from AutoCAD in a non-friendly way. So we fillet and we clean up the file so that there's no issues. So I'm clicking on either side of the line with the fillet button depressed. If I press R and C again, I can see how far I've gone. Be careful around here so you're clicking the correct lines. R and C again because I've got to change the R. Oops. R, C. I'm not after the solid diamonds. If you are, just press R and C again. C stands for continuity. So A will allow me to see the whole screen. R and C again, and that's fine. I'd expect these to be open. Right, get to the ready position, which is this cross mark, so I'm not in a function. Make sure this program does not like yellow lines, so we're going to change the color of that to something else, an olive green perhaps. Let's change it to white. I don't really care too much. It doesn't like red either, but these lines are pink, green, so it's the red and yellow lines you want to try and avoid. That's all good. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. You'll understand shortly why I'm counting. Highlight the pieces I want and export them to a tag file in the same place. So cutting folder for, I'm hoping, Roseman Sigra. Let's see where we are. Roseman Sigra, cutting folder. And I don't need a huge file name. This is a temporary file, but the longer file names tend to cause problems in the work orders. So that's my file done. Next bit, I create a work order. So that job is finished. These are old sheets that I'm trying to get rid of in the background. Right, ready to start a new job. New order, new work order here. And type in Roseman Sigra. And perhaps the material name, which is Technistone Starlight Sand. Tick that. Okay, I didn't like that at all because I was trying to make the name too long. Now unfortunately I have to start Logotag again. If you make the name too long, that's what happens. So all I've done is enter into the work order again, and I need to create that Rosamund Seeger. I don't think it needs a name. Okay. It says that it's already there. Let's check. Rosamund Seeger. Let's make a new one up. Okay, so I managed to get a new work order going. I can enable this work order and bring in my parts. So this is the Sheets tab, Parts tab. We never really use quotation. Import the pieces. That's the file I just had, and 5 pieces I'm expecting. And I'm only getting 4 now. That's got me curious. I'm going to accept them to try and understand why. I have to check what size of piece this is. To do that, I'm going to just check her file again and see what size thickness. You can just about see here that it is a 30mm thickness piece. So if you go back to Logotag, type in 30mm here, tick that. Now, the whole piece seems clean. Right, there is a problem with the sync piece, and I think it's through that joint that it didn't like, so I need to change the layer entirely. I am going to delete all these pieces by erasing them. Do I want to cancel only one part? No, there's something wrong, but bizarrely, if I now select them again, for some reason it seems to recognize there's 4 parts I'm trying to get rid of. Got rid of them. I need to check that file again. So, if I go back to Rosamund Seeger's file, right, sometimes it's easier just to delete the line, which I've got here anyway, and do it in a different layer, even if it's not representative of what we're trying to do. Endpoint to endpoint snap. Save that. Now let's see if it imports in clean. Go back in there, and go back to the parts. Let's import. It says only 4 profiles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it doesn't like one of them. It's one upstand. Doesn't seem to like the other. So it's got the horizontal upstand. It's got these pieces all clean. It doesn't like the other. So there must be a problem with one of these pieces as well. Not sure what that is. Not that it matters much, because I just need 2 long upstands here. So as long as I can duplicate this part on the file, it doesn't matter. Right. Now, the photo has been taken in the interim. If I go to... So we have a choice. We can either try and fix a drawing, or we know that the only thing missing is this vertical 40mm upstand. It's the same size as that one, more or less. We're not going to trim them to the exact size anyway. So we might as well carry on like this. Right. So, first job is to get the... we need to go to the projects folder, which you can find normally in recent places. Project. That's now looking at the other machine. It's looking at the actual machine to find the photo we took on it. And you can open up this backup tag, backup document.tag file. We need to now do this slab edge button and mark out the corners of the slabs. When you get to the last one here, you double click and that'll... oh, that didn't work. So I right click to go backwards, but double click there and that'll make it a full slab. I'm now out of that function, and if I right click, I'm in the ready position. There we go. I need to push this into the work order we just made. So we do that is with the 4th icon along here. Insert sheet into the work order. For some reason, it never comes up with the right order, and trying to find it in this list is a real headache. We can probably find it here because the name is pretty obvious. But the best way to do it is just cancel out of this and go back into work order. So long as that's selected again, bizarrely when I close this and go do that again, it seems to find the right order. It seems to reset itself. Not sure why. Anyway, I've pushed it in. Now it's going to recognize that I have a 30mm slab, and I don't need to type in the quantity. I can just say enter and it'll assume a quantity of 1. It's granite always, never marble, and choose the correct thickness. In this case it's 30. At the moment we're cutting with slab with the tool number 12, so that's what I picked there. This is my job, and bear in mind I've got to make 2 of these. I've got to, if you remember, we talked about that has to be along the top to fit somewhere, or along the bottom, either way, and these two have to fit together. So I bring in the longest piece, and quite often you have to hold control down before you drop it into position. That one's done. Now if you press this L part, it'll remove any pieces you've already brought in so you don't double cut. Now I bring in this one, bring in that one, and the upstand. Everything is happening with one slab on this job anyway, so not a big deal in that respect. So next job is to try and jigsaw puzzle your way to this. First thing to do is try to align the longer pieces together so it becomes cleaner, easier to see, and perhaps align this piece with the outside. Well, we'll see in a moment on that one. Right now let's align these two pieces. So select it before you press the align button, which I think is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, one long. And it's the blue line. So going back to ready position, it's this blue line. I'm going to click here and click here, and that'll rotate this piece so it lines up perfectly this one on the bottom. So highlight, hit align, hit the place where you want it to do, that little yellow arrow comes up, and click where you want it to go. There. That's good. I need to now position this piece underneath, but normally it's easier to have the larger one underneath. So I'm going to highlight both this one and the other one, and align this edge here with this one, which will rotate the entire lot around. Now I can pick up both of these. So it's normally just aligning and moving at this stage. I'm using the snaps to think where I want to do it. Here I want some freedom to decide where I want to put it. I need some space on this side, so that. Now I need to align this one with here and then move it across to see how much space I have left. Or firstly I can do a quick check. I know that this piece is how big? 651 and 609. How much space do I have here? I have 712. So I have enough space for this, but I have to see what is the best way of cutting this now. I'm going to, if I press R, that'll get rid of anything I don't want to see, and if I press N, I can see the name of the job. This piece I need to align with here, so that's now going to obviously damage the other piece, but I can move it using F7, which is this one, gravity. Anywhere along this line is good because I've aligned it with the line anyway. If I hear that dot, it means I haven't pressed control. There we go. So that's perfectly aligned. I've got plenty of space for my upstands. I only need 2 upstands. The only issue is I can't physically cut this at the moment, because if I cut that one first, I will damage this piece. If I cut either of these 2 pieces, then the vertical cuts will damage this piece. So really I've got to find a way of splitting the slab up. So the way I could do it is I could cut up a few lengths of 40mm upstands in the middle and have these pieces towards the sides. So I'm going to drag this one, and if I do the F2 cursor movement, move that down to about here, there is no chance that the blade is going to get that big, and we can double check that soon anyway. But I can now align this piece here. If I press the copy tab, I can copy this one and move it using well, right now I can just pick it up and just copy it. So that's my copy. Get rid of the copy, and now move this one using the endpoint snap to here. Didn't press control. Depending on how much space I have here and how much space I have here, I can get a third slice in there as well. So I have 42mm, and this piece, although we knew it was 40mm from is going to be slightly more because of the blade thickness. So if I highlight all 3 of these and move them using no snap off the page, I can have a third strip. I know we only need two, but let's get a third one done anyway. I just did Control C to copy it and get rid of this copy because that comes automatically, and just move this using the endpoint snap F3 to this place here. Now I can highlight all three of these, all four of these pieces, and I know already from having not twisted this one that they are all aligned to this one. But there's no reason why I can't just use the align function to align that one to that one. Everything fits. I get three nice big strips. Everything fits nicely. So if I cut the upstands out first, I will be able to just take those out and then cut the other slabs cleanly. Well, I'll be able to cut that one first because it's bigger than this, and that at the same time. And then I'll be able to cut that one out last. So let us now go to manual and just make some free cuts to get rid of these upstands. Cut number one. Cut number two. Right clicking will allow you to disconnect from the thing. I'm going to just extend these anyway, so it makes no difference when I do that. So if I extend this, using F7 is the best one for this, the snap, the gravity snap, all the way to the ends. That's my first program. I'm going to save this at this stage because if I lose the work, then at least I don't lose the layout. I can now snap this, take a snip, save it as Rosamund Secret 01A. That means 01 is the first slab and A is the first cut. If I highlight it all, copy, save. Now I can make the program by this last thing over here and Control V to save. No, it's 30 is good, and just cut that. That's done. Next stage, make these cuts live again. They were depressed before, but you can make them live again and delete all the cuts we've made. Right, we can now cut this one and this one together because it's bigger than that one. So if I highlight them both using Control and then press T, I now have quite a lot of cuts to deal with. First thing to do is delete, then we're going to invert, then we're going to extend. I don't want the saw to cut out these sinks, but I do want it to cut out the hobs. Do I need to delete anything else? No, it's mainly the sink today. I now need to invert, so we're going to go sort of in this direction here. If I have my first cuts going this direction, I want all the other cuts going in that direction as well. So I'm going to turn these around to all go in this direction. This one needs to have the same thing. So we got them all going down so far, and we got them all facing to the right with the arrow. Done. Last thing is to extend the cuts using the wand. So first thing is, it believed I was going to cut out this by damage another piece, so it didn't allow me to make a full cut, but I know that's not the case, so I've extended it down. And this is a back wall where I have, so if I press F3 as a snap, that's not going to work here. I've got, it's really going wonky over here. This tiny cut here, I need to extend this one out. So if I extend it out to there, extend that out to there, even if I damage the piece a little bit, it's not going to make a huge difference, because I've got upstands covering it. That is fairly good, and I can go ahead and cut this. I'm just going to make a couple more extensions here. Right, I needed to delete actually this cut and this cut because they were previously made for the upstands. Do I need to make any other cuts? Perhaps. Oops, I deleted that. Let's make that extension over there. This one there. Sometimes it makes it easier for them to clean up the drawing. That's done. So snip. Save that, and it's going to be B. right click, copy, save, go back to the main program, and this is writing the actual program. No, I should have probably extended these cuts, so I'm going to go back and just do that again, because I should have extended these cuts, particularly that one. Okay, let's just quickly write that again. So that's good, we can come out of that. Now, I'm going to re-enable all the cuts and delete all the cuts. Final cut is that one. Press T on the keyboard, or it's the same as pressing that. It believes I'm going to damage. Firstly, this cut's already been made, so I do the same thing. Delete, invert, no need to invert, but extend, it is worth it. I need to extend that, and I need to extend that, because I know that this piece will have been removed in the meantime. That's it. So, save. And let's see. If we copy all this using some keyboard shortcuts and save the file. No, enter. Our job is finished. Save that. Right, now we go to Technika. Grab all these 3 files and put them into project. That can now be read by the machine and cut there.